All right, today we're going to cover our Chapter 19 poultry notes. And I will do this video in 3 parts, so make sure you watch all 3 parts. All right, so poultry refers to fowl or birds which are served as the main part of the meal. We have land fowl, we have waterfowl, we have fowl that fly. All of those would be considered poultry that can be served as the main part of the meal. So the most common are chicken and turkey. The second and third, or third and fourth, I guess, most common would be duck and goose. But we also have pigeon, we have Cornish hen, which are the little small, like individual serving chickens. We have pheasant, we have quail, we have dove, lots of different types. So this image I just wanted to show you real quick are some of the different types of poultry we eat. And I wanted to show you this because a lot of people don't realize the difference in size. So turkey, as you can see, is much larger than all of the others. Here we have a goose. This right here would be a duck. Over here would be a chicken. Down here, this is a quail. Here is a pigeon. And here is a pheasant. So you can see the difference in sizes there. All right, so looking at the meat of the poultry, in general, light meat is going to be milder in flavor, and it's also going to be lower in fat. The fat actually contributes to the flavor, so that's why those two go hand in hand. You can buy poultry fresh or frozen in the store, or a lot of times there's meat markets that you can go to as well. And looking specifically at turkey over chicken, turkey is going to be larger, like we saw in the image, and it also, as a whole, is just going to have a stronger flavor. Now, again, the light meat of a turkey, just like chicken, is leaner and milder in flavor because of the less fat. And it's also more tender. A lot of people argue that white meat is actually tougher than dark meat, and that's usually due to the preparation method. We typically overcook white meat. But in general, dark meat should actually be a little bit tougher. The reason dark meat is dark is because it's the muscle, it's exercise, more blood is pumped to that area. And so obviously, just like in humans, your muscles are tougher, and it works the same way in meat that you're eating. All right, roasting is the most common cooking method, and I've put a link there for this video. This is Alton Brown on how to cook a whole turkey. I'm not going to watch the video right here. You can do that on your own, but it is actually an excellent video with lots of kind of unique and interesting ways to prepare a whole turkey and roast a turkey. All right, like we said, turkey is sold either fresh or frozen, both parts and whole birds. Chicken is the same way. And if you're looking at a whole bird versus the cuts, here are the turkey cuts that you can buy. You see a breast with a bone in versus a boneless. This would be a tenderloin that's been skinned and it's cut. We have the leg. Here is a whole leg. Here it is cut off to the drumstick and the thigh. We have, Yep, that's right. We have the wings. Oh, here's the drum. I'm sorry. Here's the drumstick and the thigh. Here is the wings. This is where you can cut it so that you have the tips or just the wing. Here is a full wing, and then here is a full leg. Sorry, I got those two backwards when I was scrolling around. And then here's the chicken. Same way. You can see the pieces that are cut out here. And this is, you could buy the pieces in the store or a whole bird, and you could cut it at home. I actually have a video later that shows you how to do it at home. All right, ducks and geese are all dark meat. They are higher in fat because of the all dark meat, and they are obviously higher in flavor then as well. They are typically sold whole. There's not really a need to piece them out when it's all dark meat. Also, it's just, they're not as in demand. It wouldn't really be cost effective to spend the money to process them out like we do chicken and turkey. Now, one of the other things that we need to look at in this section is ground poultry. A lot of people use ground poultry for health reasons. They substitute, instead of using beef in their recipe, they choose ground chicken or ground turkey, which is great, as long as you are looking at the label. You should always read your label of anything you're buying, but it especially comes important in meat. Now, first of all, let's look at, this is a great website that shows some of the labels that come on poultry that you may not know what they are. Like free range means the poultry is allowed to obviously roam out in the air or out in the open. Organic means that they're also free range, but given organic feed. No hormones is a big one I think that's interesting because the USDA prohibits all hormones, so that's not necessarily necessary to put on the label. But just so you know those labels, but also know when they grind up poultry, if the label says ground turkey breast meat or ground chicken breast meat, it means only the meat or fleshy part of the bird was used when they ground it up. If it doesn't have that label meat on it, some of the skin can be processed in, which is obviously taking away some of the health benefits because the skin is really high in fat. Now, it also is high in flavor, so it contributes to flavor. But just be aware of that when you're buying a processed poultry product or any processed product. Make sure you read the label. Also, when you are buying processed poultry or ground poultry, remember that poultry is leaner than beef. And so you may need to add some liquid or extra seasoning because when you don't have as much fat, you don't have as much flavor or as much juiciness in the recipe. Now, giblets, or some people say giblets, are edible poultry organs. Here are the organs that we see: the gizzard, kidney, heart, liver, and then our neck, which is not technically an organ, but it's kind of grouped in with all of those. And where you would find those, if you had a whole bird and you reached your hand inside the cavity of the bird, you should find in a bag these giblets if you've bought a processed bird at the store. And so what you do is you take that bag of giblets out and you can discard it, or I like to boil the giblets in water and then you can either eat them, or I just use the liquid for like a gravy because it's really flavorful. But do make sure you take that bag out before you cook the bird. Also, sometimes another bag may be in there, which can be gravy. If it's a liquid bag, don't think that's pureed organs. It is probably just a gravy. And then usually the neck is not in that bag of giblets, so you might need to reach in and pull the neck out as well. But all those things should be removed, and you can eat them. Some people do. And finally, in this section, processed poultry that we talked about, let's see if we can find those processed poultry. Yes. So poultry can be processed into a lot of things. We have chicken or turkey hot dogs. There's turkey ham. Here's a chicken bologna, canned chicken. Here's another chicken hot dogs right there. Here's a picture of ground chicken. So we have turkey sausage, lots of different things. All I'll tell you on this is just, again, if you're doing this for health benefits, make sure and read the label and compare that it is actually healthier. All right, that is the end of video 1. I'll come back with video 2 in just a minute.